What up, bye babes? I'm back at it again with another Bisexual Men Speak video. This week I am answering one of your questions that you sent me via Curious Cat. I came out as bisexual to my partner. She is straight and previously assumed that I was, resulting in her reacting very poorly, to put it mildly. What is the best way to deal with a situation like this? Or is someone so seemingly biphobic unfixable? To make a long story short, this led to a week of fighting and accusations of cheating, the classic "you're not bi unless you have had sex with other men," and has generally left me feeling further ashamed of my sexuality. I'm so unsure of how to deal with this. I am so sorry, and this is unfortunately a really common reaction to bisexual men coming out, especially when they are in a relationship with a woman. Many women hear that their man is bisexual and they automatically assume that means that you have cheated on them, or that you're really telling them that, like, oh, I'm gay and I'm not interested in you, or that you plan to cheat, or that you want to be in a poly relationship. It just is me acknowledging the fact that sometimes I'm attracted to people of various genders. But unfortunately, because of conditioning, that is not what people hear when we say that we are bisexual. They don't just hear that you're saying like, oh yeah, sometimes I have crushes on more than one gender. They hear that you want a threesome. They hear that you are actively having sex with more than one gender and you plan to continue that. They hear that you are actually gay. And you know, this really sucks. It really sucks to feel like you've been rejected in this very particular way. What I've kind of learned over the years is to really not take people's projections personal. So, because it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with the way that they interpret the world around them. It has everything to do with the lack of information that they have, and the bias that they have, and the stigma around bisexuality. In some ways, I guess it is a little easier said than done, especially when it's with somebody that you've gotten to know through a relationship. It's like, you know me. Why are you acting like you don't know that I wouldn't do this to you, or just in general, you know? But that comes with conditioning. Almost every time we see bisexual men in the media, they are associated with lying, cheating, and secretly being gay, or associated with HIV and AIDS. I think it's important to also note that there is nothing wrong with having HIV and AIDS. There's such a stigma around it, and that comes from lack of information as well. I just didn't want to further that stigma around HIV and AIDS. But I did want to underline that being bisexual is demonized, and being bisexual is automatically linked in many people's minds to having HIV. To be honest, I think it's important to have this conversation with your partner, or have a conversation with your partner and just let them know what bisexuality means to you. You know, make them aware of this conditioning that the media does and that society does, and that you came to them because you wanted to be honest and you wanted to share a part of yourself, and you thought that they would be supportive and would be able to handle it. And that kind of brings me to my next point, which is, a person like that doesn't sound like they would be the most supportive. And while there are other ways of finding support concerning bisexuality, like this channel and like many other channels and other resources, it is important to feel like you're in a relationship with a person who sees you and supports you and validates you. And not only that, but a person who has friends who are not biphobic, and who has friends who don't whisper in their ear, but oh yeah, your man is secretly gay, or I know that this, or I know that. And in one of my other videos, I talked about how I'm not desperate and I don't want to be with somebody who feels ashamed of me, or feels ashamed of a part of me. I know some people who are in relationships with bisexual men encourage them men not to tell anybody that they're bisexual. And while that might work for some people, that just doesn't work for me. It's taken a really long time for me to get to this place of self-acceptance where I finally feel happy with myself, and like I see my bisexuality as like, you know, a beautiful thing and not that big of a deal anymore. Versus years ago, I hated it so much and it was such a big deal. So I've worked really hard to get to this place, and I don't want to be with somebody who is going to take me a few steps back. This might be the beginning of the end, you know? But yeah, what I would say is that anybody who doesn't want to be with you because you're bisexual is not the right person for you. And also that it's important to prioritize your self-esteem. The relationship that you have with yourself and with the way you see yourself is the most important relationship that you could ever have. So I hope that helps answer your question, and I'm sending you so much love and healing energy, and I really appreciate your question. Please send me more questions. My Curious Cat link is down below, and I will see you next week. Bye babes.